When it comes to achieving your goals, the very first and often most important lesson to learn is examine your thinking and correct it. Welcome to the Power of Quiet, showing you simply how to have, do, and be whatever you choose. And notice the key word in that sentence there is show you. Unlike a lot of so-called self-help experts and gurus out there that say a lot of nice things, they talk the talk, but it's a bunch of intellectual nonsense. In fact, it's really an insult. It's like, don't tell me what to do, show me how to do it. And that's what we do here, is we show you simply, step by step, how to look within yourself, find an unlimited source of power and abundance that's in you right now already, and demonstrate that in the world. Prove it to yourself. So if that's something that you're interested in and you like what we have here to show you, hit the like button, subscribe, and welcome aboard. Now, today I want to go over a very key aspect when it comes to working on our goals, because there's something that is written plain as day in the guidelines on how to write out your goal statements that we all learn when we go through this process of learning how to release and let go of our limitations. But we just seem to forget it. Our mind draws a blank and we go right back into making the same mistake again and again and again. And that is focusing on what you really want, not what you don't want. Because, look, if you examine how the mind works, it's always focused on the negative. It's why we have this expression, rarely do we stop and smell the roses. If you really examine your thinking, it's always gravitated towards this thing to worry about, or this thing that's not working, or this thing that I don't understand, or this thing that I lack, and focusing on that. And what the mind is, it's a creative instrument. And whatever it is that you hold in mind is exactly what you get. Now let me give you an example of how we hold the wrong thing in mind when we're looking at the goals we want to achieve. And this comes from a recent conversation I had with a student. And I asked him, well, what are your goals right now? What's your main goal that you're working on? And what he told me was, I want to make my noisy mind go away. That was his goal. And when he told me that, my immediate response was, that's not a goal. That's a complaint. What you're doing is you're complaining about that noisy mind and how much you want to get rid of it. And that's not holding in mind what you really want. You're just focusing on what's wrong, what the problem is. Now, what this thinking also does is it puts you in the position of being a victim, because you're looking at this thing that's wrong and I want to get rid of it. Right away, you're coming from being a victim. And this reminds me of something that my teacher, Larry, said to people when they would call him up and say, Larry, you got to help me out. My mind is driving me crazy. My ego is so insane and it's driving me nuts. You got to help me. And what Larry would always respond with is, put the owner on the phone. You just told me. It's your mind. You said it. My mind is driving me crazy. Right there, you're acknowledging that mind belongs to you. You're the owner. Act like it. Don't sit there acting like a victim. Be the owner. Take responsibility. Quiet that thing. It belongs to you. And see, it's just an immediate shift in perspective. Because if you go down that rabbit hole of, I'm a victim, I have this problem, make it go away. It never goes away. And we can all examine within our own lives things that we wanted to get rid of, that we are resisting, fighting against, and inevitably our whole life we're holding on to that problem, carrying it with us wherever we go. We have to change our thinking, move from a victim mentality into one of taking responsibility, acting like the owner. Now, when you look at all the items on how to word that goal statement, and if you're not familiar with that, I'll put a link to the website, powerofquiet.com, where you can go right to the website, and right at the top you can put in your name and your email address, and I'll send you, I think it's like a 20-minute guide to wording your goal statements the right way. Because if the mind is a creative instrument, and the mind is an instrument that deals only in pictures, like for example, if I tell you, don't fall down, what do you get a picture of? Falling down. See, the mind doesn't process the words not or don't, it just goes right to the picture. So, if it's a creative instrument, what picture are you really looking to hold in mind? Right? The positive end result. A picture of having it already, not sometime in the future, not somewhere out there, but right here, right now. If that's your picture, then that's what you create. And as you go through each and every line item of how to word that goal statement, it's all about putting yourself in that position of power, taking responsibility, and you look at all of those steps on how to word that goal statement, it all culminates into one thing that goal is. And it's not even a goal. What it is, ultimately, it's a decision, right? So again, if you're not familiar with it, go put your name and your email address in, check out that guide on how to word your goal statement, and you'll see for yourself that it puts you in a position of deciding what to do with your life, what to have in your life, what to be in your life. See, everything in life is a decision. We decide to be sick, we decide to be healthy. We decide to be rich, we decide to be poor. We decide to have problems, or we decide to have an easy, effortless life. Now the problem is, and you can look around, a lot of what's going around in the world today is that a lot of people are getting off on being a victim and complaining about their victimhood. For what? To get people to feel sorry for them, or to control others, push others down, right? Well, I'm a victim, you're a victim too. Let's all go down together. And it's just a big ego trip when it's all a bunch of nonsense. We can just drop all that negativity, drop all that negative thinking, and just every single one of us, no matter who we are, no matter where we are, no matter what our background, live a wonderful, easy, abundant life with ease. And that's what the goals are designed to do, is to look at the decision that you're making, and when you put that decision out there, that ego, which is just a collection of thoughts and feelings that you've accumulated in your life, it comes up with all the thoughts to the contrary. Oh, I'm not good enough. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be worth it. I stand to lose more than I stand to gain. I don't deserve it, and on and on and on. And you could see those. And again, what we show you here is to take that negative thinking, go right to the root of it, remove that negativity. That negative thinking just stops, it disappears, and what you're left with is only that positive decision. And when that's the only thing that's in your mind, it manifests easily. So let's take a little bit of a experiential dive into releasing some of these blocks and discovering that you can quiet that negative noise in your mind. So think about a goal that you'd like. And again, examine where your mind goes to first. It might go to a problem. Like, oh, okay, I got this cash flow problem. I'm barely able to afford gas and rent right now. I want to change that. Or I have this body problem. Right, my back hurts, my leg doesn't work so well. I want to fix that. I want to fix that problem. So just take a look. See if your mind goes to what it is that you want to get away from rather than what you want to move towards. And sometimes it might even be sneaky in the sense that you might have a goal, well, I allow myself to be a millionaire. But in the back of your mind, all the thinking there is, well, I want to be a millionaire so I don't have to work for a living. So I have to get up early every morning, drive through traffic, spend a day at the office, so that I can buy all those toys that I want, and on and on and on. And again, what comes up in your mind is all the problems, all the negative things. Now, that's fine, but just examine what's going on in your mind and look to get into that place where whatever your goal is, it's a simple, effortless decision. So again, take a look at a goal. And let's just say that goal is to be a millionaire. All right, let's set a big goal, all right? I allow myself to be a millionaire just by releasing only, having it come to me. Now, just watch what goes through your mind right now. And see if there's a thought to the contrary. Well, that's impossible. I can't do it by releasing only. I got to do something to make that happen. Or I'm not good enough. I don't have the right connections. I don't have the right background. I don't have the right privileges. Now, again, examine your thinking. If that thought that comes up, that thought I can't, it's stronger than the thought, well, allow myself to be a millionaire. And between those two thoughts, you can look at which one is more real and realistic to you. Right? The millionaire one might be kind of unrealistic. I never even had more than 10,000 in my bank. How could I imagine having $1 million? Where, on the contrary, the thought of, I can't, that's impossible, that thought is much more real and realistic to you. After all, the rest of the world says so, right? Everybody else is struggling, everybody else is complaining. So who am I to move ahead? So, you could see whatever thought is running in your head and it's running with power, that's your picture, that's your worldview, and that's what you get. But whatever thinking that you have, and see, this is the crux of the whole thing about examine your thinking and correct it. It's not about like rearranging the words, making them more powerful. Oh, I'm an abundant God and I could have whatever I want. No, that's just like kidding yourself. It's like trying to suppress that negative thought with a supposed more powerful one. Now, what you do is you just simply remove that negative limiting thought. And what's inside of you is already powerful and empowering in all of your thinking and who you are. Just remove the negativity and you'll see just how powerful you are. So take a look at "and I can't" that comes up, that's in the way right now to that goal. And notice when you think about that "I can't," you have this sound in your head that sounds out what that picture is. And you have that picture, it's in your head. And see, everything that's in your head right now is stuff that you put in it. That mind has no intelligence, no sentience of its own. Although we often pretend that it does. We go to our mind and we ask it to help us, right? Tell me what to do. Tell me how to solve this problem in my life. Tell me how to figure out this problem. So we act like that mind has some sort of special intelligence and it's there to help us. But really, all it is just the accumulation of thoughts and feelings that we recorded into it. And we go around our whole life listening to a bunch of negative people that are unhappy, unsatisfied, people that are lacking and complaining about their lacking. We listen to them, our mind records that in, and then that becomes our own dialogue. But guess what? We put that in there. Going back to what my teacher Larry said is, act like you're the owner. Whose mind is it? That voice that you're talking to, and it's talking back to you, who's it talking to? Do you ever catch it talking to anybody else but you? It can only talk to you because you're the owner. And every sound, every thought that you have in it, you put in. So, here's another key thing about the mind. It's from the neck up. It's a recording and playing instrument. But from that neck up, it only records and plays back to you. It doesn't erase anything up there. That's why when we try to erase a negative thought by putting a more proper, more empowered thought in, that negative thought doesn't go away. It's just kind of covered up for the moment. But it's still there, and it's still just as powerful. That's why a lot of people struggle with affirmations and vision boards and all that stuff that the so-called law of attraction experts say, you should do to have abundance. But it never works. You got to remove the negativity. And where you do that, it's from the neck down. It's right here in your stomach and chest area, in your feeling center. So take a look at that "I can't," that limiting thought. Whatever's in the way, for you to look at that goal and see it as totally real and realistic, right? What's that thought that's in the way? Now, as you're looking at that thought, as you're listening to it, what I want you to do is close your eyes, put your head down towards your stomach or chest. And as you're looking at that thought, you might notice kind of a clenching, tight feeling in your stomach or chest. You notice that? And what that is your body letting you know that you got some negativity inside of you. And that negativity, it's not natural. That's not who you are. Like I said, if you clear out all the negativity, you'll discover that you don't have to put anything positive inside of you You don't even have to think positive thoughts. They just come naturally. It's the most effortless thing. And when you get all your negative thinking out of the way in relation to, say, a goal to be a millionaire, then when you look at that decision, I allow myself to be a millionaire by releasing only, you got nothing but positive thoughts towards that. It's just a sense of course I can. You don't even have to think about it. It's just the most natural thing. It's like, of course, I am. That's it. And that's that positive power that allows you to manifest that decision immediately. But you notice that I can't, that limitation, when you just focus on your feeling center here, you got that contraction, that tightness. And that's your body letting you know it's not natural. It doesn't belong there. And you can remove it. Again, you're the owner. So, wherever you feel that right now, again, just keep your eyes closed, keep your head down towards that stomach, your chest, wherever you're feeling that. Just focus on that. And right in front of that energy, that contraction, open up an imaginary window or door. And just see that contraction as just energy. That's all it is. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just energy there that is suppressed and compressed. But by opening up the door, now you're creating an opening for that energy to leave. And all you have to do is just imagine that energy going out the door now. All right, just watch that energy go out the door. And then watch it leave a little bit more. And even more. And even more. And let that energy go a little bit more. Again, it's just energy. You don't have to place any value on it. You don't need to know anything about it. How did it get there? When did it get there? Why? It doesn't matter. Just open up that door and let that energy pass through. And let it leave a little bit more. And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And even more. And even more. And allow that energy just to pass through. Just watch it leave out that door. Whatever it looks like to you. There's no wrong or right way to visualize it. Just watch it leave. And more. And even more. All right. Now notice how you feel now. Notice the difference compared to a moment ago? Especially when you think about that limiting thought. I can't, I'm not good enough, whatever that is. It's impossible. It'll never happen. First of all, when you look at that thought again, you might notice that that contraction isn't as strong. Or maybe it's completely gone. And in conjunction with that, that thought itself isn't as real and realistic to you. It's like, oh, that's just words. That's just noise that my mind is making. And guess what? I'm the owner. I don't have to listen to that thing. I can just be alone and quiet. I don't need that mind at all. And whatever I decide to have, I don't need to consult my mind. I don't need to figure anything out. Everything is my decision. Now, you might not have that whole specific dialogue, but just maybe a subtle sense of, I can. You notice that? Just by letting that energy go out that door? Now, that's proof right there. Like I said at the beginning, we don't just tell you this wonderful stuff, you're so powerful and all that. We show you how to prove it to yourself. And right there, you got proof. You can let go of the negative feelings, like that contraction, like that resistance, like that frustration, worry, and so on. And you can erase that negative dialogue, that noise in your mind. And just imagine if you just decided to have a goal, no matter what the size, right? To be a millionaire, and no other thought came up. Well, how's that going to happen? That's impossible. None of that ever came up. You just had that decision alone on being a millionaire. What difference would that make? Now this leads you right back to putting the onus upon yourself. Like my teacher Larry said, who's the owner? Put the owner on the phone. Now, if you are serious about it, your goal, and you see, well, I got a bunch of negative thoughts and feelings about that. A bunch of I can'ts are coming up. Well, if I'm the owner of the mind, and I can prove that by eliminating that negativity, then what am I going to do about the rest of that negativity? Am I just going to stick my toe in and dabble at it a little bit, go, ooh, okay, that was neat, I let go of some negativity, and then go right back into what most people in this world do, worrying, being frustrated, wanting, escaping, or deciding, you know what, I'm not going to let anything stop me from removing all that negativity, all those non-loving feelings, not just some of them, but all of them. All right? Who's the owner? What do you decide? Now I'll leave that up to you to decide for yourself. And I'll put it out there to you that if you really want to step up, and using the example that we worked on today, allow myself to be a millionaire, have $1 million or more by releasing only. And that sounds like a pretty big and wonderful goal. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to kick off a new 6-week course that's going to show you exactly how to achieve that big goal. It's called the Wealth Manifestation Course. And it's a course where we're going to hold nothing back. We're going to dare to think big and dare to demonstrate big. And if you're new to releasing, you're going to love the process to get there. And if you've been releasing and you've been working on goals and you haven't made those significant money goals, you're going to be pleasantly surprised, because this new 6-week course is going to make it super clear and easy. So if you want to check that out, I'll put a link to it up above, also in the description below. It's called the Wealth Manifestation Course. It's happening right here in July. So join us and demonstrate big things in your life. And again, if you like this, found this was helpful, hit like. If you're new here, hit subscribe, and we'll see you soon.